Hi guys, Brian with the gas station again. I have a couple cool cameras here for you today. I am introducing to you the Olympus XA series of cameras. The XA series of cameras came out from Olympus, and they are basically a really small, compact, high quality, pocketable camera that gives you great results. They're unbelievable quality lenses. I have to say they're not my favorite of all time, but they're pretty darn good. I would be perfectly happy shooting with an XA most of the time. They really are a great little camera, and you know, without any further ado, let's kind of get into what these are here. This is what they call a capsule style camera, and capsule style is this basically. It's got a door that it slides open and closes and encases the camera and the lens in, you know, what they call a capsule. So that's the basic function of turning the camera on and off, is this sliding door here. Once the door is open, the camera is on. The XA, I have the XA and the XA3. The XA is a rangefinder, a true rangefinder, as in split image focusing, like you would find in a Leica or a Yashica or electro type thing. It is a true rangefinder, so you can get very good focusing with it, and it does have an extremely high quality lens. Anything that Olympus put the name Zuiko on, which is right here, Zuiko, is of their highest quality. It's their good lenses. They only put their name, that Zuiko name, on the good stuff. So if you get one of these, you will be assured of a good quality lens. A little sort of touring through the camera a little bit more. Right down here on the bottom is your focus adjustment, or your focus lever, and I tried to see if we could see the viewfinder and you can get a good picture of it, but my camera won't do that. So, but yeah, so you would focus in here, and you have that little split image display. When you align the images, everything is in focus. The XA, the original XA, is the only one in the XA line that is a true rangefinder, and it has f-stops from 2.8 to f/22, and you can set your focus right here. Just above the lens is your meter opening, and this is your rangefinder window, and this is your viewfinder window. It is an electronic shutter on this camera, and this little red button here is your shutter button, and it is super easy to press. And the nice thing about that, and it's also very quiet, there's very little camera shake associated with this camera when you're taking a picture. Because you have such a light press, you're not having to press an actual button down and mash the camera in so it moves when you hit the button or anything like that. It's very light and very sensitive. So some people complain that it's too sensitive and you just barely touch it and it goes off or whatever. Anyway, it's designed to be shot that way with a steady hand, and it really is a nice shutter button. The flash, this particular flash, is the A16, or the larger flash that they made. It's a little higher power, a little broader coverage than the A11, which we'll find in a second on the XA3. The flash does come off on these cameras, so this camera does become truly pocketable. And I'm going to, for size comparison, I'm going to show you my my cell phone charger here next to the camera. You can see that it's barely taller than the actual body of the charger, and it's not a lot longer, to be honest. But so yeah, it's a very tiny camera, truly pocketable camera, excellent quality lens. It is, if you're the kind of person that likes to do things sort of more manually, I think the XA is the way to go. If you want to set your own apertures and stuff like that, definitely the way to go on this camera. The winder is back here, and it's a kind of cheesy sounding little winder, but it does the job, and it does what you need it to do. And so you wind it on and take your picture, and then you wind and take your picture. It sounds like a drugstore camera, but really is actually pretty good quality. So again, the sliding door, you know, is on and off. You can't open this camera if the sliding door is open, because it covers the rewind knob and the door. In order to get into the back of the camera, you have to close the camera, open up this lever, pull up, and then pop the back door opens, and you just put your film in there and wind it on to the other side, and then wind it up, and you're ready to go take pictures. And then, well, of course you have to open it to take your shot. So XA, again, more manual features than the XA3, which I'm about to show you. Oh, also on the bottom of this camera, if you can see here, there is a backlight compensation, which increases your exposure by 1.5 stops. There's a battery check here, which gives you that little beep, and then there's a self timer. So if you were to use this camera, you wind it, put it on that self timer, which is kind of like, almost looks like a little stand here, and you press that, you got a little red light flashing there. I don't know if you can see that. And then after some odd seconds, coming up soon, very soon, it'll take the picture. So that is a very nice feature on this camera. It does take two 1.5 volt batteries in the bottom here. It does have a tripod mount. Very solid little camera. It does feel good in the hand. This door can be a little wonky, so I just like to be careful when I open and close it. You know, you want to be careful with, you know, pretty much any camera. On the top of the camera here also is your film counter. Right here, let's see if we can get that in focus a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. That's your film wind film counter indicator right here. Again, shutter button, strap attaches to the side, and then your, again, f-stops alongside of the camera. It does max out at a shutter speed of 1/500th of a second. So I don't know if you consider that a limitation or not, but it does go up to f/22. You're going to obviously lose all your depth of field and stuff like that, but your narrow depth of field rather. The way these cameras work with the flash, again, this is the A16, which is the larger flash. These are the two primary flashes you're going to see, are the A11 and the A16. There are other ones out there, but they're not like worth hunting for. These are basically the two ones that you want. When you want to take a flash shot, you press that button up, and the flash will, this button will pop up, and it'll charge the flash. And on the flash, you can set it to either full power, or you could set it to your ASA of 100 or 400, and then take your picture. So there you go. And then, you know, when you're done with the flash, you just hit the button, and when you want to take it off, you just unscrew it, and it comes right off. So, okay, so that's the XA. Now, what is the difference between the XA and the XA3? Well, I also have to tell you what's the difference between that and the XA2 and the XA3. The XA, after the original XA, they came out with the XA1, which is actually not even worth talking about. It's a fixed focus, 35mm f4 lens. It's just a piece of junk, not worth really getting, not really worth talking about. But they came out with the XA2, which is sort of, you know, somewhat simplified version of the XA, where it gets rid of the f-stop adjustment, and it's an auto exposure camera, but it does give you focus options, and it gives you like these, you know, the mountains for stuff that's far away, full body portrait shot, and then a closer shot. It's closest focusing distance, as far as I know, let me think here, I think it's like 9 feet, 9 or 10 feet, 3 meters, something like that. That's the minimum focusing distance on this camera. And it does have a separate meter there, again, for the auto exposure. The difference between the XA2 and the XA3, there are two differences. One, the XA3 is a DX camera, which means it reads DX coded film. So it's going to recognize whatever ISO film you put in there, whether it's 400 or 800 or 1600 or whatever it is. It does go up to 1600. Now you see there are settings here manually on the front. They don't work if you have DX film in there. That doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't do anything. You can put it at ISO 25 and you have 400 speed film in there, and it's DX film. It's going to read that 400 speed film. That's it. No other options. The other option is between the XA2 and the XA3 is the XA3 has backlight compensation, which they omitted on the XA2. They added it in the XA3. It has the battery check and it has your self timer as well. This is the film rewind release button here on the bottom, by the way. Again, same batteries, two 1.5 volt batteries with the tripod mount. The flashes take AA batteries, so those are readily available. Same type of flash, full 100 and 400 for speed film. If you want to engage the flash on this, you don't push that up as you would on the XA. There's a little button here on the bottom here for flash, so you just slide that and then that pops up and your flash is ready to go. Well, eventually it's got to charge up. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's going weep. But anyway, so, and again, this works the same way. The camera's on when the door is open and it's off when the door is closed. The lens on this is a 35mm f3.5. It's not as fast as the 2.8 on the XA, but it is going to give you super sharp pictures. It's not quite the quality of glass as the XA, but I think you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between the two. I wouldn't. You know, again, it's kind of like what are you looking for? If you want just a camera that's going to get you some quick shots and go out. I mean, they're basically going to do the same thing. Do you want to manually focus with this and line up the stuff? Do you want to adjust your own aperture, or do you want to let the camera do the work? The metering on these cameras is great. I mean, it's going to do a good job no matter what. But you know, do you want that flexibility? Do you want to have it there? Do you want to have it available to you? They sort of give you a cheat mode, I guess, here on the XA, where you can go to where it's in orange here, f5.6. So you can put it on f5.6 and then put this your focus at 3 meters, and it's going to give you sort of that point and shoot feel too. But you know, of course, you know, you go inside, you're going to have to change that and stuff like that. So that is, you know, the major difference between, again, the XA2 and the XA3 is the f-stops, the fixed focus, and stuff like that. Quality-wise, the cameras are built nearly identical. There's really not much difference between the two. You wind it, same electronic shutter, boom, there it goes. The flash, you know, also comes off on this camera. It unscrews actually here on the A11 flash, so you unscrew that. Whoops. Good thing I have extra flash. So I do actually right here. So yeah, so the flashes, again, either one, if you get the A16 or the A11, it doesn't really matter. They're pretty much the same thing. I wouldn't worry too much about, oh, I got to get that much better flash. They're not that much better either way. So a lot of people like the XA2/XA3 better. A lot of people like the XA2 because even with you know, whatever, you know, you put 400 speed film in there, you can push or pull the film in the camera. You can't do that on this. I suppose you could tape up your film so it doesn't read the XA codes or XA barcodes. I'll show you those. The XA, there's contacts in here, electronic contacts inside the camera right here that read the code on the film. If you don't want it to do that, you can tape up the contacts on your film and then set your film speed manually. So you still do have that option. It's the one step extra work to tape stuff up, but you know what, it's still going to do the same job. I personally like having the exposure compensation on the XA3, you know, so for the backlight exposure, again, that 1.5, where's my focus? There it is. That 1.5 stop backlight feature I do like a lot. So they also came out with an XA4. The XA4 was released circa 95, no, I'm sorry, 85. And it was basically an XA2 with a 28mm f3.5 lens, which gives you a wider angle, obviously, and it was much better for close focusing. Some people may like that camera a lot better. XA4s are kind of hard to find, and they're going to be a lot pricier than these guys. These guys, you know, I mean, I paid $40, I think, for my XA, and I paid I don't know, 25 or 30 bucks for my XA3. In short, if you absolutely have to have wide angle, I would go with the XA4. If you like DX, working with DX coated film, and you want some backlight compensation, go for the XA3. If you don't care about backlight compensation and you don't care about DX film, then go for the XA2. If you want more manual control and you want to adjust your aperture settings, etc., go with the XA. All in all, no matter what camera you get of the XA series, except for the XA1, you're going to be fairly satisfied. If that's what you're looking for. Again, the only difference, that you would have to worry about is focal length for the XA4 for the wider angle. 35mm is fine for me. Again, the XA has a little bit faster aperture at 2.8 as opposed to 3.5, but I mean that's not a huge difference. So either one, I guess you're doing okay. I think I covered pretty much most everything here. The Olympus XA series, really great cameras, very cool look. I like them a lot. I don't know. I think they're awesome little cameras. My father bought one, the XA, when they first came out, and I remember I thought that was just the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So I always try and have an XA in my collection somewhere. At least the original XA, just because that's the one my dad had. So anyway, that's about it, guys. Brian, the gas station. Hope you enjoy these videos. And I'm going to keep bringing you more stuff, so stay tuned. Thanks a lot again, guys. Bye-bye.